Hi, Gale Panthers. Mr. Seconder here. One of the kinds of questions you may be asked about in testing involves genres and their characteristics. Genres are one of my favorite things to talk about in the library because it helps us organize any topic that is extra large. Think about one of the streaming platforms that you might like to use, like Disney Plus. There's so much content out there that people curate the choices into groups based on similarity. Those are genres, groups of like things. So you might see traditional groups like comedies or action movies. You might also see unique groupings like princess comedies or movies with a friendly alien in them. Genres are how we group things together into manageable arrangements that are based on characteristics. We're going to expect certain elements to be there when we're looking for a genre. Let's take this fantasy book. There's people in here using magic, check. There's a dragon, check. Magical items, and even magical creatures. Because of these elements, this story must be a fantasy. When you search for books in Destiny using a genre word, like fantasy, you're seeing a list of all the books that we have identified as having fantasy characteristics in them, such as what I mentioned in this Harry Potter book. The stories might all be a little different, but they share characteristics of a fantasy. Think about all the other genres you may have read before, like mysteries, science fiction, historical fiction, realistic fiction. What do you think are some of the characteristics of each of those genres? There are other ways to look for characteristics of a genre too. For example, with this graphic novel, I can often tell a graphic novel based on the look of the pages. This is different than an illustrated book like this that might have a few pictures, but the illustrations are not vital to the story. Poetry is another genre that we can easily spot based on how it looks on the page. When it comes to nonfiction, you may have to read some information from the back or the author's note or maybe the source notes to see if the book was researched or if the author invented anything to fill out their story. So remember, genre doesn't just apply to books, but to music, movies, and so much more. And it makes a place like this library or a video streaming platform work and work better. I bet you already know a lot about genre based on the things that you're interested in. Keep reading.